Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. What an amazing prelude. Thank you very much to all our music staff who makes our church rock first thing in the morning. Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Church of Buffalo. Welcome on this Flower Communion, Juneteenth, Father's Day, and Summer Solstice Sunday. Holy mackerel, we got it all going on here. It is so good to be with you. My name is Joan Montagnes, and I have the honor and privilege of serving you, this congregation, as minister. So here we are in a Zoom webinar worship, which means that we can't hear or see you. You can't hear or see each other. You can hear and see our worship associate, Charlene Montgomery, and our special guest stars, Peter Sloan, Liam Cobb, Beth Ruthenberg, and Beth White. And you can hear and see me. You will also hear two fabulous contributions from our church choir this morning, and you can chat with each other all the way through the service. We offer closed captioning, which should be running along the bottom of your screen, And if you find them distracting, you can just work at that CC button in your toolbar, or you can make the font larger if that would help you participate. I want to offer a big shout out to Josh Disick, John Petroselli, Justin the Clean, who is our tech today, Karen Street, who does all our visuals, Bobby Withrow, who puts on all our play by plays, and all our music staff. Oh my gracious. We got Dan Basson, our music director, John Vogtel, our pianist and organist, who started us off there, Jesse Downs, Helen Lowry, Matt Spalding, and Michael Harris. Amazing people, all of them who have given us incredible gifts of music all year long. All of these people together, our worship team, who help make worship happen every single week. I got a bunch of announcements for you, of course. General Assembly registration is still open and it's online, so it's easy to get to. And we have scholarship funds available. Talk to me if you want to go. I want to let you know that on Sundays we have multi-generational family gatherings on the church lawn at 12:30 every Sunday. Bring a picnic and a blanket or chairs, playtime stories, games, activities. Masks are required except when you're eating or on your very blanket or in your chairs. At the least one parent or guardian will be present per family uh, for each kid. And then the church will be open for rest if restrooms are needed. Everyone is welcome to that event every Sunday. Contact Catherine Gillette Cockrell if you have any questions. Today is our flower communion ceremony. So we are going to celebrate within the Sunday service, but also you have time after the service to go out and get some toiletries or non-perishable food items for Evergreen Health Services. Come to the church today between 12:30 and 2:30 today and receive a beautiful living plant for your garden, a symbol of our living faith for your home. And at that time, you can bring your donations for Evergreen Health Services Food Bank. Toiletries and non perishable food items, the list is in the chat. Don't forget to buy tickets to Jesse Downs' opera, The Second Sight. Actually, I think it's just called Second Sight. Here it is. No, it is The Second Sight. There is the advertisement. It's happening next Saturday at 7 p.m. live and in person in our very own sanctuary. And then Sunday, next Sunday at 2 p.m. live and in person in our very own sanctuary. You do not want to miss this fabulous event. The link to get tickets is in the chat. And I have fantastic news. We will begin in person Sunday worship services on July the 4th in our beloved building. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Masks and safe distancing will be practiced. The nursery will be open and staffed during the service. Online services will simultaneously be streamed at the same Zoom address as we're in right now, and we always have been. I want to tell you again, we've got 3 more Vesper services coming on up. You don't want to miss these. Outside the garden entrance, live every Friday at 7 p.m. Come for community music, candlelight poetry, and meditations. This week, our musician is guitarist Rick Strauss. And finally, we got a Zoom fellowship time. Zoom fellowship time after this service. You can come and see each other and hear each other. The address is in the chat, it's in your newsletter, it's in the e blast, and it's on the last slide of this worship service. That is so much announcing. I'm exhausted already. So let's just take a deep breath in. Mm. Let it all out and come. Let us worship.
Call to Worship is called Flower Communion by Lynn Unger. What a gathering! The purple tongues of iris licking out at spikes of lupine, the orange crepe skirts of poppies lifting over buttercup and daisy. Who can be grim in the face of such abundance? There is nothing to compare, no need for beauty to compete. The voluptuous rhododendron and the plain grass are equally filled with themselves, equally declare the miracles of color and form. This is what community looks like. This vibrant jostle, stem by stem, declaring the marvelous joining. This is the face of communion, the incarnation once more, gracefully resurrected from winter. Hold these things together in your sight, purple, crimson, magenta, blue. You will be feasting on this long after the flowers are gone.
When we begin a worship service in the Unitarian Universalist faith, we light a chalice, which represents the spirit within our congregations and our hearts. Let's join in our chalice lighting affirmation. We gather in loving community, inspiring one another to transform ourselves to create a more just and compassionate world. Now let's join in singing, Morning Has Broken. Have you ever seen a flower? I mean, really seen a flower I mean, way down in the clover with your face down in a flower. Have you ever seen a flower using nothing but your nose? Breathe deep. What do you see? Raindrops made of honey? The knees of bumblebees? A fancy lady dancing babies of the royal jelly jubilee? Mm. Have you ever seen a flower so deep you had to shout, "Hello! Hello! Hello! Hello!" and listen for the echo just to know how deep it goes? And did you wonder if you wandered down beneath its golden columns and into its corridors who you might meet? Maybe a tiny queen. Have you ever felt a flower? Do a petal's veins feel like the veins beneath your skin? Have you ever ooh, pricked your finger or fallen on your knee and seen the brilliant color of your life? Life is inside you. Life is all around you. Now, put your hands on your belly. I'm just going to put my hands on my belly here. There they are. Put your hands on your belly and say, "This is my stem." Now, sip a drip of water and feel it slip and trickle all the way down to your roots. Do you feel yourself growing? Do you feel yourself stretching up to the sun, ready to burst and bloom? Have you ever been a flower? I mean, really, been a flower? And if you were, would you remember? Try and see.
Every week, our congregation takes a good portion of our Sunday morning offering and gives it away to a social justice cause outside our church walls. This month, we are supporting the good work of the Pride Center of Western New York. The Pride Center works with our community to make Western New York safe, healthy, and satisfying place for LGBTQ people to live, work, and establish their families. You can use PayPal by going to our website, www.buffalouu.org, and clicking on the blue donate button. Or you can send a check by mail to the Unitarian Universalist Church of Buffalo, 695 Elmwood Ave, Buffalo, New York, 14222. You can also arrange a regular automatic deposit with your bank. If yours is a gift to our Share the Plate ministry, please write "Share" on the memo line, and it will be shared between the Pride Center of Western New York and the church operating budget. If yours is a welcome gift to our congregation, please write "Pledge 2021" on the memo line. Either way, please write UUCB on the important line, and we will do the bookkeeping. Your generosity literally saves lives.
Many of you know the story of Reverend Norbert Chapek, who served the Unitarian Universalist Church in Prague, Czechoslovakia during the Second World War. It was a very sad time filled with misery and injustice. The people felt the cruel gray world drain color and joy from their hearts and souls. There was no happiness, and without happiness, without joy, there was no meaning. Without meaning, there could be no hope. Reverend Norbert wanted to help his people. He knew even in this terrible, lonely, colorless time, there was meaning and hope. It was just harder for the people to see it. As he was out one day walking on a dusty, windswept road, he saw a flower, like really saw a flower. In fact, he didn't just see one flower. He saw on the side of that desolate road, forcing their ways through the dismal spring day, he saw a small swath of many hued wildflowers. Amid all the gray and pain, he saw a thronging of rowdy color. He saw life, all taste, touch, smell, sight, and sound of life and hope. And Reverend Norbert knew exactly what to do for his people. He told the congregation to come to church, each with a flower. And they came. They came with purple tongues of iris, spikes of lupin, orange poppies, buttery buttercups, wide eyed daisies, voluptuous rhododendrons, and even plain grass. And they laid their floral gifts upon the altar, and each gift declared itself and the universe a miracle. And then, as if it wasn't enough to see this abundance, this glory, this face of communion, this incarnation of the Holy once more gracefully resurrected from despair, if that wasn't enough to remind the most anguished mourner that there was still joy possible, still hope possible, still meaning possible. If that wasn't enough, Reverend Norbert then asked each person to take a flower from the altar different from the one they had brought and hold it in prayer. This was the gift, not the embarrassment of abundance, but the giving and receiving of beauty, the shared messages of hope. This was the blessing. Reverend Norbert Chapek was murdered by the Nazis for this and other powerful messages of hope and justice. But the flower communion ceremony did not die, it lives on. Every year we share flowers, and this is no exception. In the spirit of living community, come to church between 12:30 and 2:30 today. Pick up a plant for your garden, and if you choose, please don't bring a flower to church. Bring donations of toiletries and non-perishable groceries for the Evergreen Health Services Food Bank. Our communion can be a communion of joy, and it can bring life not only to our church family, but to the wider community. This year, also, as part of our flower communion ceremony, We bring to you a bodacious bouquet of memories and blessings from four of our church members: Peter Sloan, Liam Cobb, Beth Ruthenberg, and Beth White.
Hi, everybody. I'm Pete Sloan, and you might recognize me. I'm the usher at the West Ferry door. And in fact, today, I even dressed in my official Unitarian Universalist ushering clothes with a tie with flaming chalices, I notice, to get you ready for the 4th of July, just so you know who I am. I've been the usher there for probably about a decade or more. I don't really remember when I started, although if you ask my boss, Ted Bianic, he could probably tell you because he keeps great records. But I like to usher at that door because I enjoy seeing familiar faces come through the door. And I really enjoy seeing new faces because you never know what's going to happen. They might just stay for a week, or eventually they may become a pillar of the church. Who knows? So Reverend Joan asked me to relate a very happy time that happened at the UU Church of Buffalo. And so this happy time popped into my head, and it happened August 17th, 1985 at exactly 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Now you might wonder how I could pinpoint it that accurately. Well, it was my wedding day, and weddings are almost always happy affairs. Ours certainly was, but not without some great drama. And it seemed that the church was in between ministers at that point. And so a gentleman from the Amherst Church, who was certified to do ceremonies, said he would marry us. So we met with him several times, got all the details settled. We thought we were home free. Of course, a week before the wedding, he called up and said, "I'm sorry, I can't do the wedding. I have a family emergency." Well, we were in a state of shock. We did not know what to do. But fortunately, at that same time, a young man had just signed on to be the minister at the Unitarian Universalist Church of Buffalo. And he was assigned the task of marrying us. Now, this may have been his first wedding. I'm not sure. But anyway, for those of you old timers, you may remember this young man. His name was Reverend Dan Budd. And we got there on the 17th of August, met with Dan, and after talking to him for several minutes, I noticed that his hands were shaking and sweat was running down his face. And I'm thinking to myself, you know, I should be a nervous wreck, not you. But like all great Unitarian Universalist ministers, he performed the ceremony flawlessly. It was a very happy wedding and a rousing reception in the parish hall afterwards. A great happy day. Now, Reverend Joan also asked me to give you a blessing. So my blessing will be in the style of an experienced church usher. And imagine you're walking in the West Ferry door and you see me. And so I would say, "Welcome to church. Happy Father's Day. Happy Flower Communion. Here is your order of service. Find a pew and enjoy the week." Thank you very much.
Hi, I'm Liam, and I just have a brief little story I hope can bring someone somewhere, just a little joy. So, when I was asked to do this, I wasn't exactly sure what to say. Some kind of vignette of a good memory at the church. Well, there are a lot of little moments, but something worth sharing, it just kind of seemed to elude me. But after a few days of banging my head against the wall and a more late night coffee than I'd like to admit, the issue struck me. It's really very simple. I'd been trying to think about the most fun things that had happened: material pleasures, fun events, wise lessons, or great triumphs. But of course, that doesn't really make much sense, does it? What defines a happy memory isn't the weight of what happened or the wonderful material pleasures therein, but the happiness of the moment itself, the simple act of being happy. So instead, let me tell you about a time I was absolutely, objectively, materially miserable. I mean, just awful. And is nevertheless one of the happiest moments of my whole life. The youth group had arrived in Boston 9 or 10 hours ago after an exhausting nearly 8 hour drive, spending the time afterwards in some random hostel near the city center. At this point, it was like 3 in the goddamn morning, and we were bone tired. So tired, in fact, that the possibility for sleep had long abandoned us. So, sitting there around a barely functioning pool table at 3 a.m. in the dark common room of an unknown hostel in a faraway city, all extremely tired, we just began to laugh. Deep, belly laughter, quickly hushed so as to avoid waking the other guests, only for the effort to cause us to redouble over laughing again. Just hysterical, crazy laughter. And honestly, if you were watching us, it might look straight out of some indie horror film. But we were all there in that moment together, absolutely losing it at nothing in particular. And this simple moment of pure joy shines bright in my mind, a little light on my soul in the occasionally heavy and murky darkness of the world. Now, this probably makes the rest of the youth and I sound a bit more unhinged than I intended, so I'd forgive you for doubting me when I say that I think this moment presents something genuinely profound about the world, but I do keep coming back to it. That moment we all shared in that Boston hostel, feeling the interconnected web of our lives resonate, even if for just a moment. I keep coming back to that moment when the darkness of the world seems to close in. Every time it casts the shadows back just a little bit, moves the world to be better just a little bit more. And it reminds me that Jean-Paul Sartre was wrong. Hell might not be other people, but salvation is. So that's the simple blessing I arrogantly offer to you all today. If evil lays his hands on you, let the simple moments shine a little light on your soul as they do for me. Thank you.
Let's join our hearts and minds in a quiet moment of prayer, reflection, and meditation. May we hold this truth in our hearts. It is worthwhile to live and fight courageously for sacred ideals. The winds of injustice, fear, and hatred may blow into our bodies, but they will only fuel our fire of commitment. Even though we may be disappointed 1,000 times, even though we may have fallen in the fight, and even though everything may appear meaningless, we will remember that we live within beauty, miracle, and eternity. Let us be grateful. Let us know deep in our souls that life, however fragile and imperfect, always imperfect, life is a gift. And now let us open our worship space to the names of all our loved ones suffering in sorrow and celebrating in joy. Each name a breath, each breath a prayer. The breath of nature is upon us. The spirit of life is within us. The community of love is among us. So be it. Blessed be. And let the church say, Amen. And now, Beth Ruthenberg is going to give us a reflection on child dedication ceremonies and her blessing for us, followed by Beth White.
Favorite memory of the church would have to be the baby dedications. I love seeing the community support such a small child from day one. All the possibilities lay before them. It's a perfect example of when nothing is sure, everything is possible, especially when you have the support of your friends, family, and community. We help each child create their future with these possibilities. My blessing to you is to seize the best possible outcome of each situation you are in. Seize it like your day is a brand new life and enjoy each moment.
Hi, I'm Beth White. One of the most important things that drew me to this community when I started attending with my kids was the radical acceptance of the congregation. It was pretty eye-opening for me to watch UUs make space for people's boundaries, their need to take care of themselves, and the many differing viewpoints in the congregation. I especially love how that mindset has been reinforced for my kids in the RE program, and that's where a lot of my happy memories lie. Rather than hearing the Protestant work ethic and heaven or hell messages I was taught in Sunday school, they're learning about tolerance, justice, and healthy relationships. Fond memories for me include volunteering at the last couple of UUCB hosted youth cons, even the virtual one last spring. Watching the kids have a blast at coming of age sleepovers and the Boston trips and our amazingly creative youth services. The way our church gives youth agency over their role in the congregation and a sense of ownership is so important to building their leadership skills. Recently, my older boys received lovely notes in recognition of their contribution to this year's youth service and Nick's acceptance to college. It warmed my heart to know that our community is watching them grow and watching over them. Here is my blessing for you this morning. May you feel the warm embrace of fellowship, acceptance, and love that is our congregation.
What a glorious and colorful living blessing you are, each of you. Even when we are not meeting in person, you bring your gifts and being to the altar of humanity. You make the abundance come to flower and bloom into life. In the words of Reverend Norbert Chapek, the traditional flower communion blessing, he wrote, Infinite Spirit of life, we ask thy blessings on these, thy messengers of fellowship and love. May they remind us, amid diversities of knowledge and gifts, to be one in desire and affection and devotion to thy holy will. May they also remind us of the value of true comradeship, of doing and sharing alike. May we cherish friendship as one of thy most precious gifts. May we not let awareness of another's talents discourage us or sully our relationship, but may we realize that whatever we can do, great or small, the efforts of us all are needed to do thy work in this world. So be it, blessed be, and let the church say, Amen. Let's sing together. De colores.
De colores se visten los campos en la primavera. De colores son los pajaritos que vienen de afuera. De colores es al arco iris que vemos lucir. Y por esos los grandes amores de muchos colores me gustan a mí. All the colors, yes, the colors we see in the springtime with all of its flowers. All the colors, when the sunlight shines out through a rift in the cloud and it showers. All the colors, as a rainbow appears when a storm cloud is touched by the sun. All the colors are bound for the whole world around and for everyone under the sun. All the colors, yes, the colors of people parading on by with their banners. All the colors, yes, the colors of pennants and streamers and plumes and bandanas. All the colors, yes, the colors of people now taking their place in the sun. All the colors are bound for the whole world around and for everyone under the sun.
Please join me in the words for extinguishing our chalice. As we extinguish the flame of this chalice, may we carry its light with us into the world in the power of peace, faith, justice, and love.
May the flowers serve as mirrors for us. As flowers allow themselves to open to the heavens, for despite their imperfections, they still have integrity. And though they are transient, they contain the seeds of transcendence. For resurrection of the world is at our fingertips. The resurrection lies within us. Remember, you are blessed. Remember, you are a blessing. And above all else, remember, you are not alone. You are never alone. So be it, blessed be. And let the church say, Amen.